Hello again everyone, I would like to welcome you back to Daily Downshift. Today I will be discussing in depth 3 reasons why this new Corvette C8 is so important for Chevrolet and the car market itself. These factors which make the car so crucial include the performance, the price, and most importantly, the demographic of buyers. So by now the embargo has been lifted and many publications have released content providing us with real reviews after finally driving the C8. Unfortunately, we are not one of those lucky few that were able to physically test one out. We did however drive to Victor, New York to see a Sebring Orange C8 with the 3LT upgrade and the Z51 performance package. We then subsequently took an 11-hour drive all the way down to Green Bay, Wisconsin to see a Blade Silver C8 with the 3LT upgrade, but this model did not have the Z51 performance package. Now, as you can tell in the video, we've used clips of these encounters, but if you wanted to see those full videos, you can check those out right on our channel. So let's begin. We can now confirm that the 2020 C8 with the Z51 package can do the 0 to 60 run in under 3 seconds. Motor Trend themselves tested the vehicle and were successful in achieving a time of 2.8 seconds. Now that's an astonishing number, and prior to this confirmation, some people were quite skeptical, and admittedly, myself included. Now, why is this so important? Well, because it's literally a supercar 0 to 60 time. Let's begin by comparing to the previous generation. The C7 Z06 did this run in 2.95 seconds. Motor Trend themselves said they got 3.2 seconds, but that was with a manual. And keep in mind that the Z06 is a supercharged 6.2 liter, putting out 650 horsepower. The C7 ZR1 does the 0 to 60 sprint in 2.85 seconds. And in case you don't know, it's also a supercharged 6.2 liter, but it has further tuning and it puts out 755 horsepower. Essentially, the C8 with the Z51 package is faster than their last Elite Performance version. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, they really just got to a point where they couldn't push any further with a front engine setup, so they had to make it a mid-engine. And that's why we have such extraordinary results. Now, let's look at some cars that cost significantly more. The Acura NSX does the 0 to 60 sprint in 3.1 seconds. The all-new Porsche 911 Carrera S does it in 2.9 seconds. The Ferrari 488 does it in 2.7 seconds. And finally, the Bugatti Veyron does it in 2.5 seconds. And I know that the Veyron is now considered old, but that's an all-wheel drive car with 2 V8s put together and 4 turbos that costs over $1 million. Apparently the new Bugatti Chiron does the 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds, and I mean, I obviously can't corroborate the 2.4 seconds, but honestly, if the Z06 or ZR1 gets to around 2.5 seconds, I'm gonna have a roaring laugh because the Chiron costs $3 million. Actually, you know what? Scratch that out. If the Z06 does 2.5 seconds, I'm buying one. I'm committed. So in terms of pricing, this vehicle does start at $59,995. And I understand 2 main aspects deriving from this statement. The first aspect, this is relatively speaking cheap for a sports car, but it is also a lot of money to many people. I don't want to offend individuals by repeating that this car is cheap because, to be honest, it's not cheap to me. I think a more accurate word that resonates much better is bargain. In terms of weighing price versus value, it seems to offer a great bang for your buck, and I hope everyone can at least agree with me on that. Now, the second aspect about the price is, yes, it's $59,995, which we've established is not cheap, but how much is it really when it's loaded with all the options? Well, if you want the highest trim interior, which is the 3LT, and the Z51 performance package along with magnetic shocks, then you're looking at around $85,000 due on delivery. That's a 41% increase on the advertised base model price, which I can say is definitely significant. So in summary, the C8 isn't cheap, especially with options, but it's a relative bargain because it's still cheaper than all the aforementioned competition, and by a substantial amount. Now, let's briefly speak about the mid-engine aspect. This central feature, literally, has been in the works for many years and finally, they've done it. By moving the engine, this has drastically changed the driving dynamics of the car. Something that I find quite remarkable that many people haven't considered is the fact that most people who are buying this car have actually never driven a mid-engine car. And this to me is a game changer, because driving a mid-engine was traditionally reserved for the rich. And I know that Corvettes have always been the working man's exotic, but this new C8 really double underlines that statement. Motor Trend themselves have quoted, "It behaves a lot like a McLaren 570S, but is not as hooligan." Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's approval that this one is really something special. My final point about why the C8 is so important is because this vehicle has reached a younger and a different demographic. I know that Corvettes tend to be purchased predominantly by an older crowd, which is completely fine, but Chevrolet needs to find a younger clientele to keep the sales going. So far, this vehicle has been really appealing to the youth, and this in itself is an achievement. However, it's not only the youth that they want to captivate. The other demographic that they're looking for is current owners of Lamborghinis, McLarens, and really any other exotic. The C8 has had so much hype around it that those owners may actually give it a shot and put one in their stable. And it's not like they can't afford one. If you have $300,000 to blow on a European exotic, then in reality, what's another $80,000? However, these sale figures and resulting demographic numbers have still yet to be seen, but if enough young people and current exotic owners jump aboard, then this could be a great success. So at this point, it looks like I've just been hyping up the car and I'm somehow biased. But this is not the case, so I'll mention some of the drawbacks. So it's a Corvette, meaning it still has the pushrod engine configuration, which I believe is a bit dated now. Additionally, it has somewhat small brake pads and rotors. But remember that we're only talking about the C8 Stingray. I have a feeling that all of these will be amended on the all-new Corvette Z06. And if you're interested in hearing about that, you can check out our last video where we spoke about the leaked specs on both the Z06 and the ZR1. I do promise that if we do get our hands on one anytime soon, we will do a proper review of it. I just hope that time comes very soon. So that's going to be all from me. I hope this video really outlined why the 2020 Corvette C8 is a big deal. I know a lot of non-Corvette fanboys who have been shocked by how good looking the car is and its complementing performance. And at the end of the day, that's really what new cars are about. Changing people's perceptions and creating a massive buzz in the car industry. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.